In a move that's shaking the pillars of global power, Bangladesh has stepped into Africa's revolution, not with aid, but with ambition. In a jaw-dropping moment that stunned the West, Dhaka offered Burkina Faso a direct cotton trade deal that could flip the world's economic map. This isn't just diplomacy. This is a bold act of defiance, a clear message to the old powers: Africa is done begging. It's building on its own terms. And at the center of this revolution stands Captain Ibrahim Traore, young, fearless, and unapologetically African. Under his command, Burkina Faso isn't just rising, it's erupting with self-reliance, grit, and a vision that has corrupt leaders trembling and millions of people finally hoping. Just days ago, in a ceremonial moment that turned explosive, Bangladesh's Ambassador Major General Abul Hasnat Mohammed Karul Bashar met with President Traore and dropped a diplomatic bombshell, a proposal to buy Burkina Faso's world-renowned cotton directly, cutting out the middlemen, the exploiters, the gatekeepers of the global economy. But this isn't just cotton. This is strategy. Bangladesh's textile empire, the lifeblood of 16% of its GDP, runs on high-quality fiber, and Traore's Burkina Faso grows some of the finest in the world. The result? A match that threatens the monopoly of Western-controlled markets and opens a new chapter in South-South cooperation. And that's just the beginning. Bangladesh offered more: visa waivers for diplomats, military training, political collaboration, and deep agricultural support. From modern irrigation to pest control to post-harvest logistics, it's not charity, it's partnership, it's respect. While Western powers scramble to understand this new alliance, Traore is doing what most African leaders only talk about: building a nation from the soil up. No luxury cars, no foreign handouts, no selling the soul of his country. Instead, in 2024, he stunned observers by rejecting the trappings of office. Instead of fleets of new SUVs, he purchased 400 tractors, nearly 1,000 motorbikes, pumps, and modern farm gear, all aimed at one goal: turning Burkina Faso into Africa's breadbasket. That $78 billion CFA investment has already changed lives. Look no further than Koudougou, a quiet village once trapped in hunger. There, a mother named Amina Dio watched her children cry themselves to sleep. Her husband's harvests were barely enough to survive. But in 2023, the government sent tractors, training, and tools. Within one season, her family's crop yields tripled. Today, she trains other women, earns enough to send her daughter to school, and speaks with a pride that was stolen from so many African mothers before her. Her voice cracks with emotion. Traore didn't just give us seeds, he gave us a future, and the momentum keeps building. From solar-powered irrigation to locally funded factories, from mango exports to sesame markets, Burkina Faso is defying every prediction, proving that when Africa controls its own narrative, it wins. Even the justice system is changing. Under Traore's reforms, prisoners can work on farms and earn early release, turning punishment into purpose, dignity, and productivity. Inmates gain skills, farms gain workers, the nation gains hope. And there's symbolism too. The colonial court robes are gone, replaced by traditional garments woven from local cotton. It's not just about justice anymore. It's about identity. And Traore isn't just revolutionizing fields and courts, he's rebuilding roads to connect them. For decades, rural farmers like Isu Edrao, a sesame grower from Lao village, watched profits rot in the mud. Quite literally, rain turned dirt roads into traps. Transport costs swallowed earnings. But when Traore launched his 5,000-kilometer road initiative, everything changed. New highways slashed Isu's travel time from 7 hours to 1. His sesame harvest now reaches buyers fresh, and he keeps most of the profit, all built with local labor, solar machinery, and African innovation. And it's not just about the economy, it's about freedom. He who feeds you controls you, Traore once said. And with that mindset, he's feeding his people without going to the West. So when Bangladesh extended its hand, it wasn't to save Burkina Faso, it was to stand beside it. To nations, once overlooked, are now leading a rebellion that threatens to rewrite global trade forever. And the world is watching, not with hope, but with fear. Because this isn't just about cotton, it's about the end of economic slavery. It's about Africa rising without asking for permission. And it's about a leader who'd rather plant a seed than kiss a ring. In the quiet farming village of Lao, the sound of change isn't thunder. It's the hum of new roads and hope. For years, Ibrahim struggled to get his sesame harvest to market. Muddy paths, long travel times, and high transport costs meant most of his hard work withered before reaching buyers. But when a freshly paved road arrived under President Traore's National Infrastructure Project, everything changed. Today, ISU is part of a thriving agricultural cooperative that exports directly to Bangladesh. With the income, he built a new home and sent his 3 daughters to school. His wife, Fatima, opened a small stall by the road selling vegetables and shea butter, extra income from a dream that once felt impossible. Now the traders come to us, ISU says proudly, and my daughters will live a better life than I did. But Isu's story is not unique. It's one of thousands happening across Burkina Faso as the nation undergoes a transformation unlike anything seen before. Under the bold leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore, what was once considered one of the poorest nations in the world is now rapidly becoming a symbol of African revival, and the world is finally paying attention. At the heart of this change is a belief that's both revolutionary and beautifully simple. Africa doesn't need saving, it needs leadership. Africa holds 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land. Yet every year, it imports nearly $50 billion worth of food, a tragic contradiction caused by decades of poor leadership and over-reliance on the West. Traore is breaking that cycle. His strategy: empower farmers, invest in roads, train the youth, and strike trade deals that put Africa first. The recent cotton trade agreement proposed by Bangladesh is a game changer, not just for Burkina Faso, but for the continent. It's not aid, it's not charity, it's a business deal that respects African value and sovereignty. Bangladesh needs high-quality cotton for its massive textile industry. Burkina Faso grows some of the best in the world. Together, they're building a South-South alliance that bypasses the traditional gatekeepers of global trade. But this isn't just about cotton or roads. It's about restoring dignity. In the past, African leaders begged for loans and handed over their people's futures for crumbs. Traore refuses to follow that path. He's not riding in luxury cars. He's not funneling money into offshore accounts. Instead, he invested in 400 tractors, nearly 1,000 motorbikes, motor pumps, fertilizers, and high-quality seeds to transform agriculture, not for show, but for survival. His focus is clear: feed the nation, empower the youth, lead with integrity. From the dusty fields of Kadugu to the emerging highways of Lao, families are experiencing real change. Women who once had nothing now lead co-ops. Children who once starved now go to school with full bellies. Farmers who were once invisible are now exporting goods around the world. Traore's investments in solar irrigation, post-harvest technology, and local processing plants, like the tomato factory in Bobo Dioulasso, are reducing dependency on imports and adding value to African products right where they're grown. Even Burkina Faso's justice system has changed. Prisoners now have the chance to work on farms in exchange for shorter sentences, gaining skills, purpose, and dignity. Court officials no longer wear colonial-era robes, but proudly dress in traditional garments made from local cotton. These aren't just reforms. They are symbols of a cultural revolution that's rooted in African values, not foreign imitations. Captain Traore has also taken the fight to infrastructure. His government is building 5,000 kilometers of roads annually, all using local labor and materials. These roads are the lifelines connecting farmers to markets, patients to clinics, and children to schools. And the best part, no foreign contractors, no bloated budgets, just Burkinabe engineers and workers trained to build their own future, brick by brick. His agricultural policy is now being hailed as a blueprint for Africa. His focus on mechanization, irrigation, and youth training proves that when leaders invest in their people, the results are undeniable. Over 2,000 youth were trained in modern farming in just 3 months. Land is being offered to agriculture students, turning farming into an opportunity, not a punishment. It's a future where Africa doesn't just survive, it thrives. The potential is staggering. The African Continental Free Trade Area, with a projected value of $3.4 trillion, could boost intra-African agricultural trade by over 570% by 2030. But that dream needs leaders with vision. Traore is that leader. His deal with Bangladesh is just the beginning. It shows that Africa can negotiate from a position of strength, not submission. But his bold actions are also a challenge to every corrupt leader still clinging to power. While their people suffer, a challenge to those who drain national budgets on luxury while farmers go hungry. Traore's Burkina Faso is proving that the real wealth lies in the soil, not in offshore bank accounts. And his message is loud and clear. Africa doesn't need pity. It needs pride. His refusal to depend on foreign aid is a wake-up call. For too long, African countries have exchanged sovereignty for handouts. Traore is building true partnerships, like the one with Bangladesh, based on trade, not charity. This approach not only secures long-term economic independence, but also restores the dignity of a continent that has been exploited for centuries. His leadership also puts a spotlight on youth and justice. While many governments ignore their young people, Traore is training, empowering, and trusting them to lead the way. His prison reforms turn punishment into progress, and his agricultural scholarships are giving young Africans a reason to stay, work, and build their homeland. And perhaps most importantly, he's showing that infrastructure is power. When a village is connected to a road, everything changes. Food reaches markets, mothers can access clinics, children can get to school. Traore isn't just building roads, he's building a new future, paved with purpose, not corruption. The world is watching, and the West, long accustomed to Africa's silence, is now facing a continent that is speaking with strength. Traore's leadership is more than policy. It's a warning. Africa is waking up. This is not just a story about Burkina Faso. This is about what's possible when African leaders put people before profit, purpose before politics. The soil is ready, the youth are rising, and the time for excuses is over. Traore's Burkina Faso has lit the flame. Now it's up to the rest of Africa to carry the torch. If this continues, the day is not far when the West will come knocking, not with aid, but with offers, begging to be part of the African miracle they once dismissed. This is Africa's moment, and if its leaders rise to meet it, the world will finally understand. Africa was never behind. It was only being held back.